As I previously outlined, the Republic was at best ineffective and at worst deeply corrupt, and the first ones to realize this would be the founding members of the separatist movement. While their grievances were legitimate, the actions taken by the separatists were nothing less than brazen acts of greed, seeking to elevate themselves at the expense of the galaxy, using the corruption of the Republic as a shield for their treasonous desertion and criminal acts. For a patient to be saved, the spread of the infection must be stopped. Many in the Republic believed they could trim away the dead flesh methodically. Yet this was too slow a process, and the infection spread faster than they could counter. The separatists believed that they could save the patient by amputating healthy limbs and from them reconstitute a new body from these parts, misunderstanding the inherent nature of life. A being or a nation is more than the sum of its parts. With such a mechanical view, it is a little wonder that the separatists resorted to a droid army. In any case, both parties failed to realize the truth, that the patient was beyond saving and should be permitted a merciful death, rather than undergo a futile torment and mutilation that took place in the Clone Wars. It is, of course, a great irony. The roots of its demise lay in the very genesis of the separatist movement, and that in fact many of the same weeds that had taken root in the Republic were at the very core of the separatist movement. The most salient example of this being the very founder of the separatist movement himself, the infamous Count Dooku, who was in fact an ex-member of the Jedi Order, but left after witnessing the corruption and injustice which the Jedi allowed to fester and grow. As a result of these experiences, many agreed with his precise and cutting criticisms of the system, a system which he had come to know intimately. While caricatured in Republic propaganda as a hawkish, malevolent magician, it is important to realize, perhaps more impressive than his conjurer's tricks, were his abilities as a statesman and a speaker, frequently characterized as an intelligent and eloquent speaker with a highly authoritative voice that commanded audiences' attention. Simultaneously, he was in personal interactions described as witty and charming, allowing him to court the support of many critical senators and other highly respected and influential individuals, including many mid-rem senators and highly wealthy corporate moguls. So disarming was he that none considered he may, as an exiled Jedi, hold ulterior motives. In reality, he only sought petty vengeance and self-aggrandizement at the expense of the Republic and the Jedi. Despite this facade of culture and sophistication, Count Dooku was in reality a barbarian who sought only to destroy all that had been built by better men. And let this be a lesson to you, cadets. In your dealings with high society, appearances can be deceiving. Charm and charisma are powerful weapons. One must be cautious not to fall victim to them, as many have before, for those who wield such weapons can seldom be trusted. A second great irony in the separatist movement can be seen in its benefactors. Many of the worlds that seceded from the Republic did so in order to escape from the increasingly powerful and unscrupulous corporations meddling in political affairs. Little did they realize that the separatist movement was in fact bankrolled by many of these same corporations, and at the outbreak of war, many of these corporations exploited the opportunity to play both sides, while others fully threw their weight behind the separatist cause, all in the hope of currying political favor and influence with both sides. And this should serve as yet another valuable lesson. In war, it is the unscrupulous who profit. And therein we see another key issue, not only with the Confederacy, but the Republic also. Neither side called upon their own people to stand, fight, and die for their beliefs. In failing to do so, they failed to secure loyalty from their own people, a loyalty which must be forged in blood. Instead, they relied on cold, unthinking droids to defend them. And this illustrates how weak they truly were, and how weak they were in their convictions. It is for this reason that the Confederacy crumbled as quickly as it had rose. Having failed to secure the loyalty from its citizens, and in reality the only ones truly loyal to the cause, misguided, arrogant political idealists and elites, but not the common people, who have so easily and willingly submitted to our imperial rule. And so, cadets, we see these two misguided combatants and recognize how ultimately flawed they were. The Clone Wars simply accelerated the course of history. The failure of these two powers was all but inevitable. Where the Republic festered in corruption, the Imperial Security Bureau now cleanses those elements, purifying our political institutions. And where the separatists sowed seeds of disorder and violence, the Emperor's might, with an ironclad grip, restored peace and order. Now all that remains is to sweep aside the last remnants of the old Republic and the Confederacy, both without and within our institutions. And in so doing, we shall secure the future of the Emperor's new order for centuries to come.